Salutations!
Welcome to the Film Mages Podcast, where the popcorn is our ammunition, the couch is our foxhole, and the cinema is our place of worship.
Now let me see your war face. Ah!
So first and foremost, I'd just like to say that yes, Harry Dean Stanton is no more.
He's dead. Wait, so Harry Dean Stanton is gone? He's no longer?
He is no longer
He
with
is
us.
no longer with us.
Rest
we
in
left that
peace.
as a bit of a cliffhanger on our last episode.
Oh, well,
I was
dang
about to answer, and you cut me off because you just love cutting off women on this podcast.
It's a staple of the
You know,
podcast.
she ain't wrong. She ain't wrong. You are a sexist bastard, ain't you?
It's okay.
You are. You ain't winning a trailer
Okay,
trash.
I'm already giving up on this. I don't like this.
Why you don't
You don't
like
like it?
this?
I don't like it.
You give her shit all the time for her voices. We're doing it one time, and then you don't like it just because you're in the hot seat. That's what it is. You don't like it.
Yeah.
I think he likes mine the best.
I
think-
do like Alexis.
You don't like my southern twang?
No, it feels menacing when you do it. It feels kind
Well,
of...
that's because I'm a white man. It's
I was about to
inherently
say,
menacing.
I think it's because he actually is a white man.
Yeah, I think it's inherently menacing when I do
the,
it.
The twang is more threatening when it's coming out of a white face.
It's literally,
Yeah.
Mix is literally giving, like, I'm about to fucking pop out on my porch and tell you, hey, man, you better
What's going
fucking
on?
back up.
That's where I thought you were going to go with
No,
that.
I was going to give you guys a fucking chance this time.
Well, he took
Okay,
it. He
I
took
took
the
it.
chance.
I took the chance.
I haven't jumped on that in a while.
I know.
I've been slacking.
You have been slacking, but that's okay. You know, it's the new year-ish, kind of. Not really.
We don't get to pull that anymore.
Wait, okay.
We're
here's
at
a-
our second
yeah,
episode of February.
When is the cutoff?
I think the cutoff is after 7 days. I
Ooh,
think,
that's early.
Yeah.
But what if you haven't seen it? What if you haven't seen anybody for like a really long time,
and
and then you rekindle during January?
if it's during January, I'll allow it.
I think January is fair game.
I think that it's too late, especially if you've like seen people, but I'll give it to you if you're seeing someone for the first time in a while.
Okay.
So yeah, what's going on, everybody?
Yeah, how we doing? Well, wait a minute. Who are you? Who are you?
Hi, I'm Zach.
I'm Mick.
I'm Alexis.
We didn't introduce the podcast. We're the Film Majors. Hello.
Hi.
If it's your first time tuning in, we don't always open doing Southern twang.
No, that's only for February.
Unfortunately, I just got back from Nashville, so I may just keep on this for a minute.
Wow. Well, you're really gonna mosey on by without saying howdy, partner?
Howdy and yeehaw.
Wow.
Yeah. So Alexis was just in Nashville. Alexis,
Yeah.
how was your trip?
I actually had a really great time. I was very pleasantly surprised that it was fucking great. I actually even enjoyed going to the honky tonks. But like I said earlier, I have met my quota for white men for the year. I think I saw enough of them to last me at least until December.
Well, I have bad news for you.
Yeah,
for...
you won't escape that in LA or here. At
Well, I
this
just
podcast.
mean especially
Yeah.
how we meet weekly.
Yes, that is a problem. And you know what though?
What's the plan? How you gonna deal with this?
I like the aesthetic of like at least like a quarter of the guys in LA, you know? The musician thing, the scraggly, poor pauper looking thing.
If you are a first-time
Why
listener,
are you looking at me?
if you're a
when
first-time
saying
listener,
scraggly pauper?
you will know that Alexis's type is sickly white men.
Yes.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I think the men in Nashville look maybe they look well fed enough.
They're a little more
but
corn-fed?
unfortunately,
I like how you're talking about them like they're cattle.
And she be wrestling them.
don't worry, cattle that I will be bringing to the goddamn slaughter. But no, just kidding. I would never say that on the air and on record. I would never mean that.
Well, all right.
Oh yeah, okay, wait, but just
Yeah.
a side note, if you're ever in Nashville, please go to the Museum of African American Music. It is probably the coolest museum I've ever fucking been to in my life. It's like got all sorts of like high-tech interactive stuff. You can make your own beats, you can make your own song, you can find out what kind of producer you are.
What kind of producer are you, Alexis?
Like P. Diddy. Sean Puffy Combs.
I've said that. I've always said that about
Which was
you.
great because like some of the songs that he's produced is Love Like This by Faith Evans, and then I'll Be Missing You, which is the song that he did in remembrance of Biggie. So, just all around, it was a great fucking museum. I spent like 4 hours in there. Like all the girls, we all went out to brunch one morning, and then I was like, all right guys, I'll see you later, because they were all going back to the house to go like take a nap, and I was like, I do not know if I'm coming back to Nashville anytime soon, so I'm gonna go explore. They
Good for
have
you.
one of the coolest fucking public libraries I've ever seen.
Wow.
I made friends with this girl from the Nature Conservancy. Yeah, it was great. I had a good time.
That sounds like a great time.
Was this your first time in the South?
It was my first time in the South. Actually, it was my first time going any farther than Colorado.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
So,
Well, you
yeah.
went to Chicago.
Is that farther than?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's a lot
Okay.
farther than
Yeah.
Colorado.
Okay, well, it's like way north, so I don't know.
I mean, it's past Colorado, but it's north, so.
Yeah, I like Chicago quite a lot. I thought that there was because Chicago and Nashville, obviously, they're both much older cities, so they have some really good, really cool architecture. Like old brick buildings
Yeah.
and everything.
That's
yeah.
awesome. I'm glad you had a good trip. It's funny you say that about their museum, because the best museum I've ever been to is in Jackson, Mississippi. Their Civil Rights Museum, which is still
same.
hands
I went
down
to the
the
Civil
coolest,
Rights Museum in Memphis.
the coolest museum, best exhibits ever. It's clearly well funded, which is really cool.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, that's a shout out to all our listeners down south. You have really cool museums and libraries, I guess.
Oh yeah, gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous.
How was the food?
I didn't get to enjoy like a ton of stuff, but the food was, we went to Hattie B's a couple times, and the chicken was so
Yeah.
tender and juicy, so it was great. My voice is totally shot because I was loudly singing along to songs all weekend at the honky tonks, and which is not a fucking sentence I ever thought
was
would
gonna
come
say,
out of my mouth.
This is probably the 20th time I've heard you say honky tonk, and just today only. I love how honky tonk is now a part of your vernacular.
You're a honky-tonk woman.
It is now a part of her arsenal
Well,
of linguistics.
if you didn't know that they're like honky tonks have like multiple
She said it again.
levels.
Take a shot,
So,
Take a
so
shot
you
every
can
time she says
actually
honky tonk.
if you're not into the fucking country music, you can go to a different level. We went to this one that they were covering all sorts of like alt rock, alternative songs, whatever. That was a double, whatever. And then there's also like floors that you can like twerk on. So, all in all, great fucking time.
You can twerk anywhere if you're brave enough.
That's true.
That's true.
Yep.
So what films have we watched? Alexa's probably not many.
I
Yeah.
have watched none since we recorded last.
I've watched a few.
I've watched a few as well. I've been busy with work.
Must
I've
be
seen,
nice.
I've seen a couple of things, but not a lot.
I went and caught M. Night Shyamalan's new movie, Knock at the Cabin.
Nice.
And
How was that, Zachary Harris?
like a lot of Shyamalan movies, I kind of respect it more than I love it. Mick
He always
is,
has big ideas, and they just kind of fall apart at some point, I think.
I still say Signs is a great picture.
That's my favorite. That's one of my
a great
favorite
pick.
I
movies
still
from
haven't
childhood.
seen.
You haven't seen Signs?
No.
That movie scared the fuck out of me as a kid.
It's real scary.
Okay.
Plus, it has your favorite actor, Mel Gibson, in it.
Oh boy.
I just want that on the
not
record.
my favorite actor.
I just wanted that on the
I'm
record.
Refuting that.
He's like,
I am
he
refuting
told me,
that
he said he'll deny it on the
emphatically.
podcast.
I did not say that.
I'll deny it, but it's true.
It's
I can't
not.
get enough of the guy.
Fuck Mel Gibson.
But it's got Joaquin Phoenix in it, swing away, Mel, swing
Swing
away.
away.
boy.
Did you say swing away, Mel? Oh,
What's
God.
his name?
Joaquin Phoenix. His character's name?
Yeah, what's his name in the movie?
Oh, Mel.
Is it Mel? Okay, well then
I have no idea.
Fuck.
I thought it was Mel, but I could totally
While
be wrong.
Alexis is looking that up,
Well, Knock at the Cabin,
Yeah.
I think, like a lot of Shyamalan's movies, does have big ideas. I think deals with them decently. The mystery isn't necessarily as compelling as some of his other films, and the reveal, as a result, maybe doesn't feel as impactful as something like, the end of The Sixth Sense or Unbreakable. But that man knows how to move a camera like nobody's fucking business. I've made it known that I'm not a big fan of adaptations of kitchen sink plays, but I have no beef with single location films if they make that space cinematic and present it in an engaging way. And
What is cinematic?
something that has a sense of scale and doesn't feel stagey or like a play. It makes use of the medium.
Gotcha.
And I think Knock at the Cabin absolutely...
So in other words, it uses editing to its strength.
Not just
Because you
editing,
can't do that
but blocking,
on stage.
camera work, all of the things that go into
It
differentiating
takes
a
advantage
film.
of point of view.
Yes, it takes
Right,
advantage
gotcha.
of being a film as opposed to
I'd say that's a solid
being a
answer.
play.
Yeah.
And Knock at the Cabin absolutely does that. Also has maybe my favorite performance from Dave Bautista he's ever done. He's so good in the movie.
Nice. He is why I will watch it. I haven't seen it yet, but I kind of want to for that.
He is the anti-Rock in
Which I
terms
love.
of being a wrestler who is not concerned with being the quote-unquote like big ticket item of the movie. He genuinely cares a lot about the craft of acting, and it really comes through.
I feel like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is very much consumed by brand. Like, he considers himself a brand. Dave Bautista likely does not.
No,
Because again, he talks about how he wants to do meatier stuff.
Yeah, no,
Challenging thematic roles.
He's talked about how he wants his legacy to be people talking about him and saying, man, Dave can do anything.
Yeah, which is great. I think that's a great goal.
Yeah.
So Joaquin Phoenix's character in Signs, his name is Meryl. So there was three.
It's in the wheelhouse of Mel.
Yeah. It begins and ends with metal.
I'll give you that.
Thank you.
Knock at the Cabin is also a pretty interesting story about the price of assimilating into straight society as a queer person. I really enjoyed that aspect of it. Again, it's got issues, it's got the typical Shyamalan, someone is going to state the theme of the movie really, really explicitly. Which
it's the plants. The plants are all killing us.
God, I need to watch The Happening.
If you have not seen The Happening, folks, what are you doing? Are you living life? Are you using your time wisely? Well, don't. Watch The Happening.
Speaking of films with Mark Wahlberg,
oh my God,
Mick and I watched the 2003
Italian Job. Yeah, guys, I've been talking up this movie for a while, and it's not great. It's one of those movies where you grew up with it, and you look back on it, you're like, wow, that was just so cool. Like I should show my friends and revisit it. So I showed Zach, and has not aged well.
It's so unfortunate for you, because I kind of feel that way about Gone in 60 Seconds, but I love Gone in 60 Seconds
I felt
still.
about that. I felt the same thing about Gone in 60 Seconds. Then we watched it together, and it was fantastic.
Yeah, in a way that it's like oh, it's not a great
but
movie necessarily,
it knows what it is.
Yeah.
It knows what it is, and it's fantastic. It has Nicolas Cage in it, and he's a leading man. And who is not a good leading man for a heist is Mark Wahlberg.
I said this to Mick after we watched it.
Yeah.
Because Edward Norton plays the villain, and obviously at the end he gets outsmarted by Mark Wahlberg and his crew. And I'm like,
hey, what's going on? You think you're going to outsmart me? You think you're going to do it? Huh? It's not going to happen.
Getting bested in a battle of wits by Mark Wahlberg is
That's so unfortunate.
It's like losing a game of chess to a donkey.
No, but what I said was, I was like, oh, so losing. No, but what I said was, losing a game of wits to Mark Wahlberg is like losing a game of chess to Mark Wahlberg.
It's
like the same thing.
Outscored on your SAT by
Mark Wahlberg.
Damn.
He doesn't necessarily project intelligence.
Seth Green, not so great in
Annoying.
But I will stand by. You know who is good in it?
Here it comes.
Handsome Rob. Jason Statham is good in that film. I enjoy him.
Mick wants to.
And you know what?
That bald
and
head.
you know what Enrique said? Enrique said that he's hot. And so I feel vindicated.
So I'm bringing up Nashville again.
Howdy.
So
How
I was
you
there
doing,
for
folks?
a fucking bachelorette thing, and so we had these like cards that were like dares that you had to do, and one of the girls got kiss a bald man on the head, and I told her absolutely not. don't fucking do that. That's fucking disgusting. And I told her, I have always said that I would never date a man with a bald head because then when they're going down on you, it would look like a giant dick in the middle of your legs, and that would be the ultimate fucking turn off because there's nothing worse than just seeing a dick, but seeing a giant dick would be horrible.
So is this a good time to bring up that I'm going to be in a film that's shooting later this year, and I may be shaving my head?
Well, don't go down on anybody for a while.
I
can't promise
Sloan, I'm so sorry.
Oh, God. I feel bad for Larry David right now listening to this. I know he's a fan of ours. Poor Larry David.
He's going to be advocating for the bald community.
I'm nervous because is it true that baldness skips a generation? Is that true?
No, I don't think so. I think
thank God. Because my father has a thick head of hair, and both my grandfathers bald as fuck. So let's really hope that skips a generation.
Yeah.
Well, I think you'll know in about 10 years.
Hopefully. Yeah. Hopefully. We'll see.
The other film that I watched since we last recorded is...
I'm coming. If I start going bald, I'm coming for you. That is for sure.
Why?
I don't know.
Dude.
Just to keep it interesting.
No, thank you.
The other film that I watched... It's getting contentious on the other side of the table.
I'm just seeing bald heads in my head and...
Bald heads giving head and you're not about it.
Okay, also,
for all
the
our
other
bald
thing is
listeners,
that, like...
for all our bald listeners, hold on, Alexis. We apologize. We still love you. We want you to listen to. And you know what?
Okay.
If you have love in your life, especially for this month of Valentine's Day, we love that.
To be fair, never take anything that I say personally because I do not find about 80 to probably 90% of men attractive. Despite what I say on this podcast, I do not find most of them attractive. So
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other film that I watched was a 1975 Italian giallo movie called Strip Nude for Your Killer.
Which sounds like it should be amazing.
Yeah, so little bit of background on this. Strip Nude for Your Killer is one of two giallo movies that I purchased on the strength of title alone, knowing nothing else about them. The other one was a film called Blood Ceremony, which is based on the Elizabeth Bathory story.
It's not a great film.
Yeah.
Bathory, like the lady who dipped herself in blood?
Yes.
Oh. Yeah.
Sounds like a movie that would rule, right? Very mid.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
And I hate to say this, but Strip Nude for Your Killer is quite dull.
Yeah.
I dozed off a few times.
You did. You started snoring during it.
Yeah.
Which I knew was indicative. But I gotta say, oh my God, the soundtrack is so good. I was listening to it this morning. I almost sent it to you, but then I decided I didn't want to do that. It's really good. Great horn section. Has this great like bass line in it. It's really, really good. It reminds me of Lalo Schifrin.
It sounds almost identical to the main theme from the Shane Black movie, The Nice Guys.
Right. Yeah.
Which I love. So I was definitely about that. I like the killer's outfit. It's kind of got a biker thing going on. Yeah. That's kind of fun. But yeah, overall, just listen, I'm not against gratuitous nudity or gratuitous violence.
Which there's a lot of in that movie.
None of it's engaging.
But none of it's engaging. It's not
just
engaging gratuitousness.
Yeah.
If it's going to be gratuitous, then engage me.
Yeah.
And you didn't. But you know what we did watch that was very engaging and also very gratuitous?
Yeah.
Face Off. We watched Face Off, folks.
Face
that
Off.
is such a good movie. We are all fans of Face Off on this show.
What a picture.
What a picture.
Face.
Yeah,
no more drugs for that man.
Me and Zach we're just waiting for the day that we get to hand waterfall mixed face. No.
So close.
He's trying to
the best offense is a good defense. Or the best defense is a good offense.
Yeah,
one of those two. Either way, I'm ready.
Well, when you're least suspecting it, buddy, it's going to happen.
Watch out,
I'm going
man.
to text... Look out, man.
Look out, man.
I'm going to text Alexis immediately after it happens.
Zach, I thought of you when I got on my my plane from LAX to Nashville because the lady in front of me was watching Elvis on her fucking screen.
Wow. What a hero. An American hero.
Well,
I was like, it never leaves me. It follows me. And then I found him in Nashville too, and I was like, gotta send this to the boys.
Wow, you still alive in Nashville? That's great.
You found him.
Wow.
found him.
How's he doing?
Hey, how you doing, baby girl? Oh, what's going on? Yeah.
Looking a little peaky.
He's a little bit peaky.
He's looking a little peaky. Peaky fucking blinders.
Hello,
my name is Elvis Presley.
Hello, Elvis Presley.
I'm caught
Peaky
in a
Blinders.
trap with my Brummy accent. God, if only Elvis had been done by Guy Ritchie.
I would have liked it more.
Probably.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's another thing. I saw a trailer for
The new Guy Ritchie movie.
Yeah, it's called The Covenant. It's an Afghanistan war film starring Jake Gyllenhaal, and I'm not that excited.
You don't like Afghanistan war films, right?
It looks like,
Propaganda?
yeah, it looks like propaganda. It looks like, oh, how dare we pull out of Afghanistan, which, was this fucking pointless war that we were in for almost my entire life.
Yep.
Why is someone from... Never mind.
What are we talking about?
I see where you're
Why
going,
is someone
Alexis.
from
Why is
Britain?
someone from England doing that? Because the English were also there.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Huh.
That actually
Geopolitics,
makes
folks.
Also,
They're fun.
money?
And money.
Yeah.
Money makes the world go round, the world go round, the world go round.
Is it German?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
from Cabaret, buddy.
yeah.
Oh, God.
You're gonna like it. It's a great movie.
And bienvenue. Welcome.
Welcome. Any other films? Anything else that you want to chat about?
Don't think so. No, I didn't see much.
It's been a barren week.
been barren.
I saw Black Panther: Wakanda Forever.
How was that?
Not very good. It feels like a lot was kind of forced on Ryan Coogler. That movie should have been delayed more.
Yeah.
It works its best when it's functioning as a tribute to Chadwick Boseman. But it also just, as a movie with a lot of VFX action happening in the water, kind of suffers from being seen close to Avatar: The Way of Water.
Yeah.
It literally has seafaring blue people in it.
Yeah.
And it looks so much worse. So, I don't know. I mean, I've generally been kind of tapped out on Marvel stuff. I watched it because our roommate Enrique showed it to me.
I love Angela Bassett. Speaking of her, this is also coming back to Nashville. I was talking to one of the girls, Ebony.
At the honky tonk?
Well, at our place, because she was one of our people with the Bachelorette. But I said something because I was explaining to her what I was doing at the museum, and one of the rooms was just like live performances, kind of like through the ages. So it starts like back in like the 30s with like a kind of like jazz band, and then kind of moves forward until you get to this section that's Tina Turner performing "What's Love Got to Do with It," which, if you're not aware, Angela Bassett played Tina Turner in the movie "What's Love Got to Do with It." If you have kids, please do not watch that with them because it has a rape scene in it. But the movie, I always really liked the movie. Angela Bassett's great. And then the next performance is fucking Whitney Houston doing I Want to Dance with Somebody, and literally going from Tina Turner to Whitney Houston. I just started like tearing up because I was like, God, I love these women.
Oh.
God,
Hell yeah.
I
Great.
fucking loved that museum. It was so great. I got like a whole list of like new people to listen to.
Nice.
Oh.
That's fantastic. You know what else I watched?
What?
Dark Waters.
Oh.
That's right. I finally
starring
watched
our
that.
favorite Mark.
Mark Ruffalo and Tim Robbins, Bill Pullman. And again, as I told Zach, my main takeaway from that film, which, if you don't know, is about the discovery that Teflon releases toxins into your body and will give you horrible cancer, which apparently is in 99% of all living creatures on Earth.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I've heard that.
And honestly, with
Not
a
me,
story
though. I'm built
with
different.
a story that hefty and that dark, honestly, my main takeaway was how tall Tim Robbins is.
Okay.
Oh my God. There is a wide shot of him and Mark Ruffalo just talking, and he's 5'8", not super tall. I wouldn't call him short. I would say he's shorter. But Tim Robbins, I didn't know this, he's 6'5". So when you see Tim Robbins and Mark Ruffalo talking to each other, I laughed out loud. I was like, oh my God, man, that is a tall man. But yeah, check it out. It's great. Anne Hathaway's in it. Good
Love
time.
Anne Hathaway.
Me too. Talking about short men, have we ever told the listeners what our group chat is named?
Oh no. Yeah.
Yeah, our group
What is it?
text.
Was it Alexis? What's it called?
It's called. I named it this Tom Cruise's Apple Box.
And we had it
We
this was
find that.
named
Well, hold
before.
on. We find that funny. Why do we find that funny? What is an apple box?
So an Apple Box is like essentially like a like a box of wood, right? So like you would think like something to store fucking apples in, whatever. But there's like different sizes of it. But so like it was a joke because Tom Cruise is very short, and so like I think sometimes on sets, right, they have him stand on an apple box.
Well, that's
or is
the
that
joke
just a joke
we tell ourselves.
Yeah, that's a thing that
Yeah.
short actors have been known to do. You
Yeah.
put them on an apple
You put him on it, or to make someone
I
look
mean,
really
he
big.
was with Nicole Kidman for like the longest time, and she
How
is
tall
a
is she?
tall. I think she's like his height. So I think in order to like,
Oh, okay.
She's probably taller than him.
yeah, I don't know.
Well, she wears heels.
yeah,
maybe.
so
Yeah, she made a joke on, I think, Letterman after they broke up, where she was like, I can finally wear heels again.
Oh, I love that.
yeah.
Yeah.
One of my favorite photos of her is her celebrating leaving her lawyer's office after divorcing Tom Cruise.
Oh, I've seen that picture.
It's so
That's
great. Just
No
like
one
the
has
pure
ever looked
joy.
happier.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's great.
All right, so I think we could probably get out of what's going on.
Let's hop out.
And let's get into our big topic for the day.
Our big topic.
It's
a
girthy.
it's a big topic.
It's a thick
It's
topic.
an important. You know what? It's an important topic.
Yeah,
We haven't covered it before. I feel like people don't talk about this enough.
yeah.
We're doing important work here.
And that's worst date night movies.
That's right. We're on the cutting edge here at the Film Majors podcast.
Always have been.
Yep. We are leading the charge.
So
We
I think-
create trends. We don't follow them.
Sure.
As per Frank Capra.
That's
Goddamn right. So I think we could probably start out by talking about some of our worst movie date experiences.
Oh, there's so many.
I have one notable one.
Okay.
And it was, I took someone to the movie Interstellar when I was in my sophomore year of high school. And
Oh, you're so young.
I was into this person. Yeah, I've got my whole life ahead of me.
I feel so old. Oh my god.
Yeah, so I took
What?
someone. Mick's looking like Murph at the end of Interstellar. So I took someone to Interstellar, and I was kind of into this person, and this other guy was kind of into this person.
Hot.
And I discovered
Uh-oh.
that the other guy, I'm assuming unbeknownst to, I'm assuming he didn't know that I was going to this movie. He fucking sat right behind us for the whole movie.
Okay.
And I was like, what the fuck,
But hold on,
man?
hold on.
Wrecked
So
the
you two are on a date. You and her.
Yes.
All right, like-
I'm gonna say me and him now because he's trans.
Oh, okay.
But yeah,
that's
I was
cool.
out
But
with
this third party person is not involved at all.
No.
Was not part of the planning.
No.
Okay,
Just
shows up-
happened to be
Ugh,
at
boy.
the same screening of this movie, and then chatted my date up, and I was like, "Get the
Wait,
fuck
from
out of
behind?
here!" Yeah, and I'm like, "Get the fuck out of here, dude! Leave me the
That's
fuck
so
alone."
emasculating.
Anyways, yeah, no, they dated and they had a really bad relationship.
Oh, wow.
So I felt like I won.
So you feel vindicated.
Yeah,
Okay.
I dated someone I liked more.
Oh, okay. Hey, that's great. So,
Yeah.
okay. That is a pretty
All's well
horrible
that
date,
ends
though.
well.
But it was an
That is a
awful
horrible
date. It was.
date.
I was like, I'm living
Wow.
in hell right now.
You know what? That
I feel
reminds
like
me.
I'm drowning. I
that
feel
re-
like I'm in hell.
You know what that reminds me? That reminds me of the scene from Twilight where they go out and see. What is it? Face Punch? Is that the name of the movie?
That is the name of the movie.
Face Punch. And,
Oh, yeah.
and Taylor Lautner.
It's a new moon.
Yeah, and the other guy like starts getting all nauseous, and Taylor Lautner calls him like a marshmallow, and then straight up tries to fight him in the
He
lobby.
looks like a marshmallow.
He does look like a marshmallow.
No offense,
I
I'm
love
sorry.
that scene.
All right, we don't need to make me into the marshmallow.
No, I'm just
guys.
saying that's what it reminds me of. It reminds me of Face Punch. Which, by the way, guys, that is just another reminder of how good the Twilight Saga is that they named the movie Face Punch.
They know what they are.
They know what they're doing. Okay, self-awareness is important.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I'm sorry, Zach, but I'm
Yeah.
glad that you ended up getting the, the
Yeah.
better end of the stick.
Yeah,
However
it
you
worked
want
out
to say
okay.
it. That's great.
But
well-
it was a nightmarish experience.
Since we're going counterclockwise, I guess I'll go next. So,
Are we?
my date night experience
Also, that's
was not.
clockwise.
It's
That is
yeah,
clockwise.
Yeah, exactly. I know. Keep
right.
keep it up, Zach.
Okay.
So
I'm sleepy.
the next the bad date experience I had was in also high school. It was Robert Zemeckis' Flight with Denzel Washington. Really good movie. I stand by it. It's a really good picture. It's a great movie about addiction and struggling with addiction. So we're watching the movie. I had a huge crush on this girl. Her name was Amy. I'm not going to mention her last name. She's super beautiful. She's a cheerleader. And I had like recently like blossomed. I was the nerdy kid. I was the nerdy kid. And now suddenly I was with like a hot girl. So it was a big deal. And I look over at her and it's a powerful movie. And she's like crying. Like you can see like
what
tears.
Movie?
Flight.
Oh,
by Robert Zemeckis.
Okay.
If you don't know, it's about Denzel Washington, who struggles with drugs and alcohol, miraculously saves a passenger airplane because he's a pilot from having a horrendous crash. Okay. And like next to everybody on board survives, but now they're just investigating why did this happen, and they're going to maybe figure out that he was intoxicated the day it happened. Then his whole career is down the toilet. Anyways, the movie's going on. She's getting emotional. I'm like, wow, this is really having an effect on her. This is fantastic. We leave the theater, and I'm like, Amy, like, did you have fun? What did you think? And she looks at me like, I hated that movie. I was like, what's wrong? She goes, my mother was addicted for years. And she apparently, this movie like triggered her. Her mother ended up going to like an institution because it affected her mental health to a degree that was just not, they had to remove her from the family. The courts did. And this movie about addiction like completely decimated this poor girl. So it's not exactly a funny story. I wish I could make everyone laugh with this, but no, that was the worst movie night date of my experience where I was like, oh, I completely triggered this woman by accident. I had no idea that she had this past. Yeah.
Yikes.
But yeah, Amy, if you're listening, I hope you're doing well.
How about I'm sorry?
Why? It's a good movie. Come on.
Jesus Christ.
Self-awareness is important, Mick.
It elicited something out of her.
All right.
Yeah, follow that up.
Well, let me preface before I begin my story that if you're going to do the whole like Netflix and chill thing, you should really do a movie that you've all seen before and that is funny rather than a good movie, because I will personally never want to make out with you more than I will want to watch the movie.
Yep.
And so I will.
That's true of all of us.
Yeah.
No, like one time somebody put on Arrival and like I kept stopping to continue watching the movie.
Good for you.
When they kept trying to like kiss me. And then I was like, all right, I'm going to go. But it was so nice.
Yeah. I had a similar experience in high school. I put on a movie and then I was like, oh yeah, no, I'm actually just watching this now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here we go. All right. Well, when I was living in Humboldt, I had this coworker, and every year we did this like Christmas party, right? And all of her, I think all of her sons were in the Marines, right? And she would always talk about them. She was like one of those people that like would always come by your fucking office and like talk to you, even though it's like, I just come here to work.
Yeah.
And I would like to work instead of listening to you. No offense.
Is she the kind of person that has the little sign on her desk that says, you don't have to be mad to work here, but it helps?
No, but she had like pictures of her Marine sons all over her office and whatever. And she was always bringing them up and stuff, you know, just like how great they were or whatever. Okay. So anyways, one of them came to the Christmas party and I was sitting at their table and we just started like chit chatting or whatever, you know, and then, I don't know. I don't remember how we ended up going on a date, but we ended up going on a date, to the Alibi or Sidelines or some fucking place like that. And he got drunk and he kept talking about guns. And I was like, okay, cool. And then we had like gone back to my place and I was like, oh yeah, just pick a movie that we can watch or whatever. And you know what this man picked?
What did he pick?
Black Hawk Down.
Oh my God.
Which, you know, good movie.
Haven't seen it.
But.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I think the combination of him talking about guns all night, him being a Marine.
Not good foreplay.
And then putting Black Hawk Down, I was like, what fucking universe did I step into that this is my life right now?
We know what gets him going.
That's
heavy artillery.
And then he continued to message me and like drunk call me over Facebook like for days afterwards, because he would just be getting like drunk at home and he'd call me to talk about all the guns that he owns.
Oh my god.
And I was just like, I have no idea how to explain to you that everything you do is disgusting to me now because you put on Black Hawk Down in my house.
That's like that's maybe a successful tactic if you want to like fuck another Marine. And that's kind of
even then.
Yeah,
no.
I
don't even think that's a good.
I don't
Maybe
know.
someone in the Air Force.
He's married now, so like that maybe it worked for someone.
The drunk calling finally worked for him.
Oh my god.
And his wife, an AR-15. He's fucking a gun.
Yeah. And then you know, after that woman continued to come to my office every morning and like talk to me about her sons. Yes. Yeah. And I would just be like, oh, that's so nice. And in my head, I'm just like, I'm sure your sons are pieces of shit because that one of them at least is fucking crazy. Fucking crazy. But yeah, so fun times, great times. That's the type of white guys that I just really don't like.
It's a menacing type of white guy.
It is, because it's also like you can't fucking tell them like, please stop calling me because they'll be like, hey.
Yeah. It's amazing. It's amazing these men that are all about strength are just so fucking easily butthurt. It's amazing.
Yeah.
They're so fragile.
Yeah, but they also just like, they don't listen.
No.
Like, he just kept going on and on. I kept trying to change the subject, and he just like kept coming back to his guns. And I'm just like, dude, gross.
Yeah.
Anyways, so that's my horror
that's
story.
That's a pretty bad one. Yeah.
I hadn't seen Black Hawk Down before, but I had the DVD.
Right.
And I've not watched the movie since because I just can't bring myself to put that movie on. It's like the same thing with like, what movie was it? Oh, God. I can't remember what movie it was anymore, but whatever movie I lost my virginity to, I wouldn't watch that movie for like forever afterwards.
You lost your virginity with a movie on? You don't remember what the movie was?
You know, I think we should. This is probably a bad subject.
Yeah,
we
don't need to talk about it. For sure.
Yeah, we're gonna move on.
Cut that.
Wow.
Well, you know, those two kind of made me feel better because mine was mostly just embarrassing.
Yeah.
Those seem, I guess, mixed. Those just both seem really
Mick
awful.
seems unperturbed by his. He's just
because
like,
it wasn't my. It's not my fault. I was
It
like,
isn't
if you want to
your
see,
fault.
I was like, well, you want to see Flight? She's like, yeah, let's watch Flight. So there you go.
Yeah,
it's not like I took her to see that on purpose. I didn't
That's
make
an
her.
honest mistake.
yeah.
So
Did
there
you
you go.
comfort her?
Of course I did.
Okay.
Yeah. Why
fine
wouldn't
then.
I? I felt really. Of course I felt bad about it. But I'm not going to apologize years later. Come on, move on. Let's get out of here.
Okay.
Get out of here with that.
All right.
Well, one film. Mick is getting.
There's one thing that white men have, and it is the fucking audacity.
That's right.
And I am never more reminded of that than when Mick speaks sometimes.
We're an audacious bunch.
Yeah, we are.
One film that I've been told is a bad date night movie by my co-hosts
Yes.
is David Lynch's Wild at Heart, which is the film we're talking about today.
Which we watched. Yeah.
Yeah, we just watched
We had
it.
an interesting time.
It's a 1990 drama starring Nicolas Cage and Laura Dern. And I can read the synopsis if you guys would like.
Yes.
Sure.
I would love that.
After serving prison time for a self-defense killing, Sailor Ripley, Nicolas Cage, reunites with girlfriend Lula Fortune, Laura Dern. Laura's mother, Marietta, Diane Ladd, desperate to keep them apart, hires a hitman to kill Sailor. But he finds a whole new set of troubles when he and Bobby Peru, Willem Dafoe, an old buddy who's also out to get Sailor, try to rob a store. When Sailor lands in jail yet again, the young lovers appear further than ever from the shared life they covet. So,
That's like the whole movie.
yeah, that is...
That's a synopsis.
All right, well, spoilers, guys. Although this is a hard film to spoil because it is a David Lynch film.
Yeah, it's hard to describe
Which
it to begin
means-
with.
There's actually no way to explain everything that happens in this movie without you sounding like you fucking took acid and are trying to talk about a movie.
It exists in a bizarre nightmare reality that many David Lynch
Very
films
Lynchian.
inhabit.
Yeah.
But I really enjoy this movie. I'm not like a huge David Lynch guy. If in terms of my weird Davids, I'm more of a Cronenberg boy.
I haven't
Same
seen enough
as-
of his filmography to really say whether or not I'm a Lynch guy.
Same. I haven't seen a ton of his stuff. I've seen Mulholland Drive. I've seen Eraserhead, and I've seen this. That might be it.
Yeah.
I've seen the first season of Twin Peaks.
I've seen Elephant Man, Eraserhead, now this, and the first season of Twin Peaks.
I've seen Blue Velvet, Twin Peaks, and now this. And I've just got to say, I'm not a David Lynch girl, I think. I love Twin Peaks. I loved that shit in high school. I watched it like multiple times.
It's a very fun
But
show.
I love Kyle MacLachlan in it. He's just so great as Agent Cooper.
Cherry pie.
Yeah.
Douglas Firs.
But, honestly, though, David Lynch, he has a very, very, very good bunch of actors that he like works with over and over again.
He's got a good company.
What is her name? Is it Gladys Zubecki?
Oh boy, I'm gonna have to look that up.
She's the mother of Laura Palmer in Twin Peaks, and she also plays this
Zabriskie.
random character in this movie.
Grace Zabriskie.
Right.
Grace Zabriskie. She is incredible. Whatever she does, she is fully committed to what she
Yeah.
is doing.
Yeah.
I think that for me, this is kind of one of the easier David Lynch films to parse, because I find it to be pretty clear that it's a movie about young, traumatized people with an idealized image of what America is, butting up against what America actually is, and finding solace in that sort of idealized notion of Americana.
Yeah.
Because Nick Cage's Sailor has a whole Elvis obsession that kind of sees him through the film, and both him and Lula have this sort of guiding moral compass of the Wizard of Oz, and kind of seeing that as like this representation of pure good and evil, and they're trying to, avoid the Wicked Witch and follow the yellow brick road to their dreams. So I don't know. I feel like that all kind of tracks for me and makes sense. Mm-hmm. And I find it pretty affecting.
I found this movie gross.
It's definitely
This
also
is
gross.
This is a gross film. It's very poetic. I'll give you that. Like everything you just said, I'm completely with. As I said before we recorded this, because we're trying to choose some films for y'all that might be nice to play during the month of love, and that was kind of the rose-colored glasses I was watching this through. And man, I think any other context, I would probably be like, yeah, no, this film, I kind of dig this film. I kind of vibe with it, but just because of the ethereal, the subconscious dreamlike aspects that he's so good at creating, David Lynch, it's very much at work here. Again, it's kind of like we talked about, is he capturing the American dream or the American nightmare kind of thing, because it feels like a dream. That all works for me, but again, I was viewing this through the lens of, this is something you might want to watch on a Valentine's Day date, and that's why I was just kind of like thrown for a loop, because it's a disgusting film. There you have people just slapping themselves with makeup, like lipstick all over their face. You have disgusting teeth. You have disgusting hotel rooms with vomit on the floor. There's something about like the Southwest aesthetic sometimes that bums me out. I don't know what it is. These old rickety cottages like out in the desert where you just have these sad people living out there. Oh man, bums me out.
Yeah, I think the imagery that you're talking about doesn't bother me as much. To me, I'm like, it's just the David Lynch flavor. That's his rock salt right there.
It is his secret sauce.
But what I don't enjoy about David Lynch in what I have seen is just the pervasive violence against women.
Yeah.
It's just I don't know. I don't know. I don't even know what to say about it. I don't enjoy it. Like in this movie, one of the characters has been like, Lula has experienced, like sexual assault, rape, whatever, and abortion, things like that. So And in Blue Velvet, same thing. There's like domestic violence. And I'm just, and I don't know, like, is the violence against a woman supposed to make her more interesting? Because sometimes that's what I feel like the movies are doing. Look
how strong she is that she's enduring this kind of thing.
No, that's not what I'm saying. It's almost like the men in the movie have this like fascination with a broken woman kind of thing. Like, especially in Blue Velvet, it's like she's so interesting because of how in trouble she is. And in this, dude, I don't even know about it. We just watched this movie. I haven't really had time to fully process it.
I will say in this, I agree with you. I think that it's, troubling and unpleasant that it occurs in many of his films. And, if that is something that you just don't want to see in a movie, totally get it. This is not the movie for you, and you shouldn't watch it.
Yeah.
I think that in this is a movie about people with trauma kind of trying to make their way in the world. And, does that trauma have to be sexual trauma, sexual violence? We not necessarily, that's definitely a conversation to be had. But I think that it's maybe more effective here because Sailor and Lula are both these people from broken homes, broken childhoods who are, finding each other and trying to make that work despite their pasts sort of haunting them. Very literally in Lula's case with her mother, who I would like to talk about for a moment.
Lord.
Because
what a performance.
What a fucking performance from Diane Ladd. She is so good. She is completely fucking unhinged.
Yeah.
It's thrown further into relief when she is interacting with Harry Dean Stanton as Johnny Farragut. She's just... because he's such a calm presence, and she is losing it every single moment she's on screen.
Literally, yeah. She is barely tethered.
Yeah.
And it's great. Great performance for sure.
I think we've touched on it, but the scene where she completely smears her face in acrylic pink lipstick.
Very bright, pigmented,
is just such memorable, evocative imagery. And seeing her,
It's burned into my retina for sure.
Yeah, that is an image for sure. I wish they did more with Isabella Rossellini.
She's not in it much.
She wasn't in it as much as I thought she was going to be. And I'd never seen her like this before. She straight up has a unibrow and a blonde wig in this film.
Yeah, a very strange blonde wig where her brown roots are very prominent. So I'm is the wig did they purposely not secure the wig to her hairline, or is the wig with the brown roots? I was so confused every time I looked at this wig. Okay, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I'm very much every time there's a really bad wig, I'm just what is going on?
Yeah.
Also, the fucking Nick Cage's nose at the end was so strange.
He gets his nose broken.
He gets his nose broken, and then it's clearly swollen. But the whatever nose makeup that they had just is this totally different color than his skin tone. It looks like it died. His nose is deceased.
Yeah, they give Nicolas Cage a Gandalf nose at the end.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of stuff about clear artifice in how people present themselves, because on top of that fake ass wig and Nicolas Cage's insane nose prosthetic, you've got both Lula and Marietta, her mom, are constantly wearing this kind of ghastly bright lipstick.
They
oh my god,
they
the
are
worst.
A pair of country queens. That is
how
who they are.
At.
They
it
are
is
country
the most
queens
atrocious fucking lipstick color I've ever seen on Laura Dern, and I've seen quite a few of her movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lots of acrylic nails.
So many acrylic nails.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
I love that I just said that. So many acrylic nails.
I do love Nick Cage's snakeskin jacket.
He looks great in this.
Honestly, he has multiple outfits where I was Nick Cage kind of hot. What?
Yeah.
This is my snakeskin jacket. And for me, it's a symbol of my belief in individuality and personal freedom.
Yeah, the lines in this film are pretty good. I like the dialogue.
Him saying that, because he says that multiple times in the movie. And I was talking about how, one of the things that I find that can bug me sometimes in Shyamalan films is characters just like explicitly stating their beliefs and the themes. I think it's so fucking funny when David Lynch does it.
Yeah.
And it's so funny. Every
right.
time Nick Cage says the snakeskin jacket line, it gets funnier.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of great line deliveries in this movie. I guess I started smoking when I was around 4. My mama had already died of lung cancer.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I also want to shout out that is it Laura Dern who, when they're having sex, asks, or no, I think it's during the story that Sailor's telling Lula about his sexual experience. The girl says, take a bite of peach.
Oh, yeah.
That was a hell of a line to hear after watching Face Off this week.
Peach for hours.
Peach. I can eat a peach for hours.
Oh my god.
For those
Dude, wait, okay, go ahead.
I was just going to say, for those of you who don't know, Nick Cage as Castor Troy in Face Off is constantly talking about how good he is at eating peaches.
Yeah.
Great.
Which, again, when we rewatched that, I noticed that Chris Bauer is in that movie, an actor I've worked with twice, and I am so upset that I've worked with him 2 times now, and I've forgotten that he's in Face Off. He's in the cafeteria fight scene.
Wait, who?
His name's Chris Bauer. He plays one of the guys that's in the
He's the guy who helps Nick Cage escape the prison.
Yeah.
He's the big
who
guy.
Accuses Castor Troy of sleeping with his girlfriend and his sister.
With his wife and his sister. Having a sex sandwich with his wife and
Yeah.
We're just talking about Face Off now.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Alexis, what were you going to say?
Oh, did you write down that line about how Lula feels about his dick?
Oh,
God.
Yeah.
No, how it talks to me when it's inside of me.
Oh
my
I
God.
never, ever
I'm like, clearly a woman wrote this
like
script.
that ever again.
Yeah, that's
my God.
not the kind of snake charming that we want to be involved with.
Oh my God! Yeah, I believe at that point in the movie, Mick said, "If I had $1 for every time a woman said that to me, I'd be in debt."
Yeah. Yeah.
No person.
I stand by that.
Ever.
Was
Yeah.
also, God, if someone did say that to you, like, you couldn't take that as a compliment. That's just a red flag that someone would think those words in that order and say them.
Yeah.
Like, that's a red flag.
The flip side, however, is when she
flippity-flip.
says, "You've got me hotter than Georgia asphalt."
Oh, yes.
I did like that one.
That's kinda
That
hot.
we want to aspire to be that.
Yeah.
Also, Alexa said that sometimes I'm the whitest man that she knows because during the opening credits, one of the actors' name is Crispin, and I was like, God, that is an underrated name, Crispin.
Crispin.
You don't hear Crispin enough.
Yeah, you said that, and I was like, "Oh my God, he strikes again." You know why?
like I'm a villain, like I'm a Batman villain.
Like when
Crispin's a good
when
name.
I was in middle school, there was like some book that's like a Newbery Award book that we read in class, and it's like takes place in like I think like the 16 or 1700s, where it's like you're still in like feudal era, and the character's main name is Crispin, and I was like, white as shit, my dude.
Yeah.
I also need to bring up, speaking of white people business,
I'm so interested.
Yeah, go for it.
noticed Alexis starting to be allured by Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
In the moment where he performs
Yes.
"Love Me Do" by Mr. Elvis Presley.
That's right. Yeah.
I was shocked. I did not know that he had a voice like
This
that.
is why I say Nicolas Cage should have played Elvis at one point.
Yeah, would have been great.
Baz
I
Luhrmann,
don't know
you made a
about that.
mistake.
But I was shocked. Although that was one of my favorite scenes up until he started the fight, because they were at this like metal show.
Yeah.
And they were just like rocking out so hard in the most like
You wanna go dancing,
distracting
Peanut?
way.
Yeah, Nick Cage is like doing karate.
I believe
Yes! Oh my
that
God.
Nicolas Cage goes to mosh pits. I choose to believe he does that.
I love it. I hope that is in our universe, and if it's not in this universe, a different one.
And by the way, listeners, if you have not seen the viral video of Nicolas Cage singing Purple Rain at a karaoke bar when he was really distraught after getting dumped, watch it.
You know what? I'm gonna say no.
It's very short.
I feel like it's mean that
Why is that? It's funny.
I feel like it's mean that someone filmed Nicolas Cage who was in
come
a
on,
moment
Zach,
of
I'm
distress.
I'm not giving this to you. You and I have laughed about this before.
But I still think it's mean. I can laugh at something that I think is mean,
God,
and I
what's
can
wrong with
recognize
air?
that
Suddenly
it's
you're
mean.
this
It's a
ideal
really good
man.
song.
I think it's
heard
mean.
Purple Rain.
He's talked about how that felt exploitative to him.
Oh.
And you know what?
That is actually very fair because, I mean, to be fair, like when he first got like famous and stuff, nobody had fucking like cameras like that. So
Yeah, and Nicolas
Yeah, you
Cage,
can't have a meltdown as a celebrity anymore.
Well, Nicolas Cage has kind of been treated poorly by the internet, I would say. I think that he basically had a
He
decade
is a living, breathing meme.
where people were like, "Oh, Nicolas Cage, he's a shit actor," by making these compilations where you take moments of emotional extremity from his performances out of context.
Yeah.
And from that are like, asking people
it makes a funny compilation.
Yeah, it does, but it also discredits the fact that he's an incredibly fucking talented
is.
actor,
He is, actually.
and
I will
all of
defend
those
that.
moments work in those films.
Zach, let
yeah.
me say, I completely agree with you, and I still think you should look up that video because I think it's funny.
I think he just had a run of like bad movies in like the 2000s.
Let's not forget he got fucked over by his agent. His manager stole a lot of money from him.
Yes, that's true.
He got the fucking Colonel Tom Parker treatment.
Yeah.
So that's why he was so desperate for material for so long, because he had to make up his debts.
And he
can't
still
blame him for
fucking
that.
gives 100%,
Yeah.
even in a bad movie. And
That's-
in that period in the early 2000s, like I feel like good work of his went unrecognized. Like
Face Off.
We've seen Matchstick Man, right?
Oh, I love Matchstick
Yeah,
Man.
Matchstick
I
Man
haven't
is
That's
seen
early
one of my
2000s.
favorite Nick Cage's performances.
Who directed that?
Ridley Scott.
Oh shit! Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. I should check that out.
And the
Moonstruck.
other one is
We love Moonstruck.
Moonstruck's great, but I'm just talking about that period in the early 2000s where people were kind of clowning on him.
Okay. I have
Bad
a great
Lieutenant,
example.
Port of Call,
Lord
New
of
Orleans.
War. Lord of War.
I still need to see that.
That is a great anti-war, anti-military film, and Nicolas Cage is fucking great in it. The only problem with the movie is that Jared Leto's in it, and he plays a really good character. He plays as a brother, but no, it's a good film. I definitely recommend it.
I just had to go on a Nicolas Cage defense
Because I
tirade.
mentioned his karaoke video.
Well,
That's fair.
I don't know. It set me off. It just made me think about. It made me think about how disrespected he's been.
Oh,
You
One of
know,
our greatest actors.
well, I think
I
now
love
we're
him
finally.
in Valley Girl so
Oh,
much.
that's such a
Another
good
one
movie.
I need to see.
That's
That
such a
one
good
you really
movie.
need to. It's just like a fun, like super rewatchable movie.
That's a great film.
It's like totally tubular.
Totally tubular. I love that.
You know who's also in that movie is E.G. Daly, who is the voice of Tommy Pickles and like Buttercup and
Yeah, she's
I
great in
don't
that.
know what you're talking
Rugrats.
about.
Rugrats.
Never watched Rugrats.
Powerpuff Girls. She's done voices for like
Yeah.
dozens, if not like hundreds of characters.
And the dad character in that film, who, by the way, is like the mustache man from Apocalypse Now. He's so good. He plays
He
a
is
stoner
perfect.
father. Oop, the old lens cap is on.
No, he's like taking pictures of
Yeah.
them for before the prom, and then he's like, no, he smoked a doobie.
He smoked a joint in the bathroom
fucking
because
bathroom.
he's
Then
nervous.
he comes out and he's like taking pictures of them, and then he's like, oh, old lens cap
Forgot the
still
old
on.
lens cap. He lights a candle so people don't notice. It's great.
He's
Nice.
so funny.
Yeah. That's a good. Actually, we're not reviewing it, but guys and gals, everyone in between. Valley Girls, great Valentine's Day movie.
Yeah,
that's
it
a good
actually
one.
is,
Also,
yeah.
Moonstruck, another.
That's
Nicolas
another
Cage
good
Yeah.
one. We love Cher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other. I mean, obviously, Laura Dern is fucking wonderful.
We
in this
love
movie.
Laura Dern. Alexis, do we love Laura Dern?
I fucking love Laura
We love
Dern.
Laura Dern.
I love that she is like one of David Lynch's stable of actors,
Yeah.
and like has gone on to do a bunch of
Yeah.
mainstream film work. Obviously, Jurassic Park,
Yeah.
but still
October
will come
Sky.
back and work with those freaks It's fucking great.
Okay.
I have a lot of respect for her.
So I have a bit of trivia. I actually got to tell the boys this earlier.
Great story.
So as some of you may know, David Lynch plays John Ford in The Fabelmans, which is directed by Steven Spielberg. And you might just think like, oh, they're homies. Like he got David Lynch to do a movie, but David Lynch like specifically said like no originally to doing this movie.
No.
So
Seems
Steven
on brand.
Spielberg was like, rang up Laura Dern and was like, hey, can you help me get David Lynch to be
so
John
cool.
Ford?
That is so cool.
And so she did. She like called him up and was just like, asked him basically to be in the movie. And the cutest thing, he actually like, he got his outfit. He specifically asked for his outfit and he was like in his fucking like character's outfit for like weeks before like actually shooting the film.
David Lynch looked like John Ford for like a long time, geared up for it.
Yeah, apparently like his outfit was already like worn in by the time he got to set.
That's so. See, here's the thing. Like we talk about, like, do we love David Lynch's work? But there's something about him as a person.
Very
that
interesting man.
We love it.
I love his vibe.
We love it. Yeah.
I do love his vibe.
I do respect that like his work is definitely it's him.
Yeah.
You know?
No,
like
for
I
sure.
can always respect a director where it's like, oh, I can always tell when it is somebody's movie because of certain elements.
We've talked about that before with Baz Luhrmann. Like, that's how I've defended him against you, Zach, is because I'm like, say what you will about Baz Luhrmann, but his work is distinctive.
Yes.
He has a voice.
Yeah.
It's like Guy Ritchie.
You see a movie and you're like, that is him.
It is. I think it is the staple of a unique and great filmmaker. Even if I don't love his work or all of his work, it is the staple
Or
of
her
a
work.
great and unique filmmaker. I'm talking about David Lynch specifically. The fact that he has become an adjective. Things are described
Lynchian?
as Lynchian.
Yeah.
Like when something is strange and dreamlike and unsettling.
That's the ultimate compliment.
It is Lynchian.
Yeah.
People refer to it as Lynchian, and it's because he is kind of... I would say that I think he is kind of the name most people think of when they think of experimental film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I think for me, he probably was kind of in the foreground of movies because when I was like younger, like I said, my family all watched like romantic comedies and comedies. Things that like just like a regular like family would like watch, not ones that were like specifically into like classic cinema or anything, you know?
Yeah.
And when I was in high school, I had this friend who fucking loved David Lynch. And so I watched Twin Peaks and I loved it, but it was like really one of the first times that I'd really seen something that was in that kind of vein of just like dreamlike and strange. And I'm not quite sure at all times that I know what's going on, but I think that's okay.
Yeah.
With the other movies though, this one and Blue Velvet, I think it's more of just like, I don't know what's going on. I don't hate it, but I don't love it. So.
Yeah, so, like, I don't know if I like this. Sometimes I ask myself that. I think for me, Mulholland Drive is next on my list. That's the one I want to watch next.
I need to rewatch Mulholland Drive. The night that I first watched both Mulholland Drive and Eraserhead was one of the last times that I really smoked weed.
Interesting
And I
choice.
feel like you can guess why. Because I
Yeah,
got so
Eraserhead
scared.
is an interesting picture.
I went and saw Eraserhead at the New Art Theater in Santa Monica, which, fun fact, is where Eraserhead premiered.
Oh, cool.
People were there.
Returned home.
Yeah, all dressed up in their like Eraserhead outfits, and
How is there Eraserhead outfit?
somebody had like a full paper mache Eraserhead.
Was there anyone with
baby.
like paper mache cheeks?
I was
Like
too
the
hot.
the radio-
I'm gonna
the woman
be
in the
honest,
radio?
the film and the environment I watched it in all kind of blended together because
Well-
I was so high and so scared.
Well, that movie we watched, Alice, again, that reminded me of Eraserhead. Because it's very strange. Very, very strange.
I think Mulholland Drive is always a movie I've had on like my watch list for probably a decade, maybe longer. But I know that I really need to watch The Elephant Man and Eraserhead
yeah.
We have Eraserhead on Blu-ray if you want to borrow it, Alexis.
for sure.
But I do want to watch Eraserhead, or fucking Mulholland Drive. Because, again, we live in LA.
Yeah.
I should watch Mulholland Drive. I live 20 minutes from it.
I also want to shout out Willem Dafoe in this film.
Oh, yeah.
Who is making
Good God.
the absolute most of his prosthetic teeth that he is
you
wearing.
mean his prosthetic
Gums.
unteeth?
Yeah.
Yeah, his lack of teeth.
Bobby Peru
He
Bobby,
looks like
which is a great character name.
he looks like a shark that lost like multiple rows of teeth.
Yeah.
He lost a lot, yeah.
And
a shark who's a heavy smoker.
I watched his GQ like career retrospective, and he has talked about how I think he might be one of those actors who's kind of put into character once they get their wardrobe. Like
Yes.
the wardrobe helps them a lot because he has talked about all right. Putting out Bobby Peru energy across from me, and I don't like it. He's talked about how, like, when you get those prosthetics put in, your lip is kind of forced out, and you start to want to work your tongue over it, and then suddenly that makes you a little more lascivious.
I was talking to an actor recently about that process of when you put on the costume. Is that really where you feel like, oh, I finally have my character? And they agreed.
Anytime that I did theater, I personally felt that being in costume and especially because like I did mainly like theater, being in costume and being in wigs really helped me so much more.
I don't know about you, Alexis, but I found that my character's posture finally came to be realized once I put on my costume.
Oh yeah, definitely. I had this one character who had these giant sewn-in titties to the to the dress, and so it would just like it would make me sit a whole different way, and I would like hold myself like
chest
just
up,
like
tits out,
chest up, tits out, just like totally living my good life.
Yeah,
is it a Southern character?
No, she was actually a madame in like 1700s England.
That explains the large tits.
Yeah.
Sure.
Her name was Diana Trapes.
I love that. I love everything about that. But I love how you slipped into the Southern there. That's good.
I mean, like, it's giving.
It is giving. It is the season for giving.
Yeah. Willem Dafoe in this reminded me of how when I was a kid, when I was like, when I was like 3 or 4, I watched the original Sam Raimi Spider-Man.
Yeah, I'm something of a scientist myself.
And the scene where Willem Dafoe becomes the Green Goblin.
Oh, fantastic.
Incredible scene.
A little understated.
Back to formula. That scared me so bad I had recurring nightmares about the Green Goblin for 2 years as a child.
Has anyone seen the Brad Pitt film Killing Them Softly?
No.
Oh, okay. Because I'm pretty sure that movie was heavily inspired from the stocking cap over Willem Dafoe's face in this, because that is such a distinctive look. It's where he wears the stockings,
it's scary.
and it morphs his face. They kind of do that in Killing Them Softly, but they do it so much better here, and they do it better here because it's Willem Dafoe.
Yeah.
You put him in a little stocking, it's going to be crazy. Which, this reminds me a lot of Raising Arizona. It reminds me a lot of True Romance, a little bit of Sid and Nancy. It's got this road trip, very
it's giving Thelma
crazy.
And Louise a little bit.
Bonnie and Clyde.
I gotta watch that.
I mean,
definitely.
That's why I picked it. It's it's an outlaw romance. At the end of the day.
is.
I mean, by way of one of Hollywood's most fucked up minds.
And this is something this movie made me realize. I told you this, Zach, before we started recording, but we don't get Rust Belt movies anymore.
Well, because this isn't really in the Rust Belt.
Again, with the
Rust
voices,
the Rust Belt,
Bible Belt kind of thing.
Yeah, you mean Bible Belt.
Bible Belt with people
the
with
Rust Belt is
the
more
southern
in the Midwest.
the people with the southern accent is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
You don't get movies with characters like that anymore, and it's kind of strange because we got Thelma and Louise.
Is that true?
Well, think about it. When was the last time a movie came out, like a big movie, and everyone kind of talks like this? Back in the 90s and 80s, we got Thelma and Louise. We got My Cousin Vinny. We got so many movies.
Sling Blade.
Does 3 Billboards count?
Yeah.
Yes. No, that's a good example. That's actually a really good example of a recent one we've got. But
the two recent ones that I can think of are 3 Billboards and Hell or High Water.
Hell or High Water. Right, that takes place in West Texas. Great film, by the way.
Oh, really good.
If you like Chris Pine, really great movie.
One of my favorite Pines.
It's great. Oh, yes. But yeah, it's kind of strange. Like, I feel like the South isn't represented as much as it used to be in like the 90s and 80s of just a normal story, but the characters are from the South. I don't know. It's kind of noticed that.
I can't really speak on that. I'm not sure if I noticed the same thing. I would have to do research to either agree or disprove you.
All right, let's
you get on that, and
I'll do that. Sure.
Yeah.
You know what? I'd like to see that come back a little bit. not for any particular reason, but just I don't know. I think it's kind of nice when you get every facet. Look, if we're gonna have movies about American culture, it's strange that a huge portion of the country, which you just visited in Nashville, this isn't getting main characters anymore. You know?
Yeah, no, that's interesting. I would be interested to see if that's like, statistically true.
Yeah.
As opposed to just feeling, because I do tend to agree. Like I can think of a lot more older films that are set in the South.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of the like mainstream movies that I see tend to like take place on like either the West Coast or the East Coast a lot of times. We just love an urban character.
West Coast, West Coast.
West Coast is the best coast.
One other thing I want to bring up about this movie is, so Wild at Heart is an adaptation of a like pulp novel, and obviously there's a lot of like David Lynch twists to it, but from what I understand, it more or less follows the plot of the novel. However, the one place that it really deviates is at the end. Sailor actually does leave Lula and his kid in the book.
Oh, wow, that is a big deviation.
Yeah, because so after he goes to jail for the second time, he comes out, and in the movie, he's tries to walk out on Lula and his kid because he's like, "I'm no good for you," but then gets beaten up by a gang and has a vision of Glinda the Good Witch telling him not to give up on love, and then he goes back to Lula and his kid and sings "Love Me Tender" again. So I don't know. I think that to me it feels like a genuinely kind of sentimental twist on the material.
Yeah, like, it feels like David Lynch was like, I don't know if I jive with that message.
I like these characters, and like I've seen it interpreted as like, it's kind of a an extreme depiction of the Hollywood happy ending to the point of being ridiculous.
Yeah,
which
is true.
But it feels, I don't know, it feels genuine to me. It feels like it's coming from a genuine place of affection for these characters.
It's definitely playing to the genre.
Is it genuine, or is it just like we've seen these two characters with genuine chemistry go through so much shit that, God damn it, I want to see them happy in the end. Yeah. And that's how it feels earned.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think that, to me, my guess is that that's how David Lynch felt.
Yeah, which, again, I support that. I think that's a good ending.
Yeah. I have to say that, like...
I mean, for most of the movie, he was pretty devoted to Lula. I feel like him walking away would detract from who his character actually was.
It's kind of out of character for him.
Yeah, he is the, like, most extreme version of the individualist American romantic hero.
Yeah. So, and also, like, I mean, when she was talking about maybe not wanting to have a kid, he was like, "Oh no, I'm down." So I mean, I don't know. It feels like he would come back.
Yeah, it feels like a good deviation from the source material.
Yeah.
Good choice, David Lynch.
Yeah.
Our most devoted listener.
Absolutely. I love the Film Majors podcast.
God. It's like he's in the room with us.
No. I don't want to listen to Blank Check. I want to listen to the Film Majors.
Did you ever see Louis C.K.'s show?
Louis. I've seen a couple episodes. Why are we going here?
Because David Lynch is in that show.
Oh, that's disappointing.
Well, say what you will about Louis C.K. I know he's problematic, but that was a damn good show. And there's an episode where Louis C.K. is being optioned to replace David Letterman, and the character to come in to train him to be a talk show host is David Lynch. And it is one of my favorite television performances ever, because I feel like he just shows up on set and they just let David Lynch do what he does.
He has a really good screen presence.
He does. He really, really does. And I feel like the person that would disagree with you would probably be David Lynch, because he seems so like
no.
Yeah.
I also, rewatching this movie reaffirms to me what a cool casting choice David Lynch as John Ford is. Because casting,
it's fantastic. It's my favorite cameo of 2022.
Casting like the king of bizarro cinema as like Mr. fucking Hollywood is a very funny choice.
Yeah, it's great.
And they do look alike.
They do. They really do.
Yeah. If you see a picture of John Ford, it's eerie how much David Lynch
he looks like a
him.
slightly heavier set David Lynch.
Okay.
It's pretty
interesting.
good.
Do we have anything else on this film?
I personally don't. Yeah, again, I reiterate. I think this is a good movie. This is a solid film. It's just it is challenging. It is grotesque, but it does absolutely have heart at the center of it. So in that sense, it is actually a romantic film. I'll agree with that.
Sure. I don't love the movie, or I would not rewatch the movie, but I know that it is a good movie. I guess I don't know. I'm really feeling wishy-washy either way, I think.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd see it either again.
My friend Allison listens to this podcast. You will not like this movie.
Speaking of acrylic nails, hello girl, how are you, Allison?
I love her.
She is the queen.
She's the queen of
She could have shown up on the
nails.
set of this movie and shown them all up. Like,
Oh
this is how
yeah,
you fucking
absolutely,
do it.
110%. My first student film.
That's right.
That was our one note from the fucking
That's a
teacher.
little-
Was like, you can't have people in your movies and make a choice like that unless you're trying to say something about their character, and she looks like a villain with those kinds of nails. And I was like, well, I'm not going to ask
me.
her to take off
It's
her
subjective.
nails.
She looks like the queen of this film, and she's the main character, and she is
It's
a
giving
queen.
main character energy.
Exactly, and that's what you were saying about that. Yeah. So, little film major trivia. What is one thing that Alexis Avitia, as a filmmaker, and David Lynch share in common is their first film had fabulous nails in them. Because we know David Lynch's first movie had fabulous nails. That's a given. Yes. Just go along with it, Zach.
Okay.
I want this to be a connection for her to have with David Lynch.
I love the nails in Eraserhead.
I don't feel the need to have a connection with
I
David
do.
Lynch,
But
but that's okay.
I want this to be a thing. I want that to be trivia.
Yeah, well, I would say that if you are a fan of David Lynch, if you're a fan of Nick Cage, Laura Dern, Willem Dafoe, if you like things that are
Strange.
offbeat, strange, upsetting, but ultimately, kind of, I will say, emotionally cathartic. I think that you should give Wild at Heart a chance.
If you're binging typical rom-coms right now with your significant other and you kind of want to shake things up, go a little dark, roll this film.
Make sure your significant other is cool with it.
Yeah, I find this very funny
there's
because
some trigger warnings with this film.
Of the Davids, since I'm less into David Lynch, I think it's because like his movies are like they're strange and upsetting in a way that like I don't find hot, but the Cronenberg movies for some reason are strange and upsetting in a way that I find kind of hot, and I don't understand it, but I kind of love it.
I'm with you.
On tonight's Valentine's Day double feature, we have
Wild at Heart
and Crash.
Yes. Wait, there's multiple car crashes in this movie, Wild at Heart,
and it wasn't sexy.
It was not sexy,
But
and yet Crash.
Oh man.
Yeah.
That should have been our double feature today.
That really should have been.
At some point, we'll get to Crash.
Yeah.
Yes, we will.
It's on our shelf. I own that thing.
Wonderful.
Right. Criterion version of it.
I think that we can probably wrap up our discussion here.
Yeah.
I think we covered the movie reasonably well.
Do the curtain call.
It's a hard film. It's a hard film to parse right after you've watched it. So I commend you guys for engaging in a conversation about it.
I do too.
Immediately
Good for
afterwards.
Yeah.
I will
never
say.
thought that Nick Cage was a sex god, but apparently this movie says so.
He's kind of hot in it.
Yeah, but guys, we know he's a sex god. We've all seen Face Off. Come on.
Eat a peach for hours.
I kind of love
suck
his aesthetic
on
in
my
Valley
tongue.
Girl though, because he looks like a punk from the 80s. I'm like, I like that.
God, that's a great film.
He's got sexual energy in Moonstruck as well.
He does. He lost his hand. He lost his pride.
He lost his hand! I lost my bride! Johnny has his hand! Johnny has his bride! You want me to take my heartache, throw it away and forget?
That was my bad, guys. I triggered that.
Blasted that shit, Zach.
Yeah, I sat like a decent ways back from the mic.
No, if you didn't know this, he stepped outside of the apartment to do that. He came back in.
You wouldn't even. Did you need to be mic'd when you were in theater?
Yeah, Zach, you wouldn't steal a DVD.
No, for real.
Genuinely, no.
I knew it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't give me a mic when I was in
I'm
theater.
sure.
Of course they didn't.
I'm sure the person who chose that was a person running sound. They're like, oop, nope, take away his mic.
No.
Yeah, I can't
I
take,
already
I can't
have
take
hearing
the
problems.
chance of getting my eardrums blown out.
Waste of a mic.
Yeah.
Well, thank you everyone for listening to our discussion of Wild at
No,
Heart.
thank you, and you know who you are. Thank you for listening.
Okay.
It's all of you.
Next week, we are going to be getting back to something
one of
a
my
little
all-time
more,
favorite films that I have not seen yet.
something a little more conventionally romantic, and that is
Thank God.
director. All right.
I mean,
you know what?
low-key same. I'm with you,
Wild at
Alexis.
Heart's a good fucking
No, it
movie,
is. We just
and
finished-
I'm
Oh,
glad
God.
I picked it.
God damn
Okay,
it. We
I'm
were
happy
doing so
for you,
well. We were doing
okay?
so well.
I'm happy for you.
Yeah.
I just, I can't wait till we go see Titanic this weekend.
Which is not what we're talking about.
I know.
Are you
But I
guys
am
seeing
excited
Titanic
to
this
watch it.
weekend?
Yeah, we
We're
should.
all going to see Titanic.
We'll find a time.
Yeah.
Okay. Hell yeah. Let's do it.
So, next week's film will be The Philadelphia Story, directed by George Cukor and starring Katharine Hepburn, Cary Grant, Jimmy Stewart,
Oh, God, yes.
and John Howard. All right.
Oh, we love John Howard. Do we? Do we love John Howard? I don't know
Sure.
who that is.
And you can find that movie on HBO Max.
Yeah.
And, go ahead and check it out.
Great.
And if you want to check us out, you can find us at Film Majors Pod on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter.
Okay.
And if you want to shoot us some feedback, tell us what you think your romantic date night pick film would be. You can shoot us an email at filmmajorspod@gmail.com. Alexis?
For anybody that is not usually interested in older movies, please make this your exception. This movie is genuinely so fucking funny.
I can't wait to watch it.
I'm going to quote Patrick H. Willems' review of The Philadelphia Story. He said that the cast of this movie is like the 96 Bulls of movie stars.
Oh, really?
It is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Boy, okay, you got me going with that.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
It is a spectacular movie. I'm so glad that I've seen it. I'm so glad we're watching it.
This is the Chicago dynasty of casts.
Genuinely.
Wow, okay. I love that. I'm excited. Great. First time, gonna be good. Gonna be good. And you know what, folks? This is releasing what time? February something.
This will be releasing.
This is our Valentine's Day episode.
Yeah.
So happy Valentine's Day, everybody.
Everyone.
Oh my God! And if you have a wonderful person in your life and you're gonna have a good time, I hope you have a great time with love and chocolates.
I
all
will
that
be
stuff.
celebrating my personal favorite holiday, which comes just the day before, which is my father's birthday.
Oh great! Hey,
I'll
happy
also
birthday!
be celebrating my dad's birthday, which comes the day before that.
Hey!
That's
Happy
great.
birthday, dads.
Happy birthday, all the dads.
All right. And Sloan, love you. Okay.
Love you
As
too,
a
Sloan.
side note,
Well, we got talking about dads. I'm going to have a wonderful Valentine's Day with my beautiful girlfriend. I love you.
great.
Happy Valentine's
Bye.
Day.
Oh, bye.